What's up, guys? It's Ari coming at you with another book review for an amazing book. I had so much fun with this book. We are talking about The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winters. Alright, so to start off, what is The Rage of Dragons about? So, The Rage of Dragons is about a young man named Tau Tafari, and he is raised in a society that has this sort of caste system. There's the nobility, and they have their own sort of rankings and hierarchies, and we have these sort of lessers who are, they have their own specific rankings as well. Lessers are more like farmers, educators, and administrators, and military service can alter your positioning in those rankings. But after some very unfortunate events that happened to Tau, he goes on a path of vengeance. And this story kicks into high gear the moment he goes on that path. The writing in this book is incredible. The growth of this character is amazing. The pacing of the story is pretty fast, but I think it's great for what is going on, the sort of information we're getting. There is a magic system in this world, but it isn't very prominent. It is there. I thought it was interesting. I am a magic system guy. I like fleshed out magic systems, so I am curious to see how he expands on it. I haven't read book 2 yet, but I'm going to read it very soon. I thought that every character added value to the story. I never felt like there was a wasted moment. I read this a lot faster than I read most books. I think there's also, it sounds so weird, but most of the books I've been reading as of recently have 10 plus pages per chapter. With this book, it was more like 3 to 4 pages per chapter on average, and just that feeling of progress to the next part. Or rather, the chapters are split into these sort of parts, but I just consider it a new chapter, basically. Yeah, that feeling of progression also helped me just keep going. For some reason, I felt like I was making more progress, and I just kept going because of that. Small detail, but I think it helped. There are these characters introduced around the second act, you could say, or the midpoint. Once we get into the thick of the story, they're called Tau's Sword Brothers, and each one of them is great. My favorite was Uduak. I love Uduak. I want more of him. Hadith is a close second. The moment all of that starts, the story just goes, and I wanted to know everything that was going on at every moment. I would highly recommend this to anyone who is new to fantasy, who would like to try some fantasy out, who's into something that's more gritty. This is a violent book, but the action and violence is used so well. It is important to the story. It is not used senselessly. Evan Winters also just has, he just has some lines in this book that the moment I read it, I would be on a train or I'd be on my break at work, and I would just look up from the book and just go like, Last but not least, my favorite part of this book, Tau Tafari. I loved Tau. I felt for him so much. I was frustrated with him. He is a very reckless guy, but he's also like a teenager. He doesn't really know any better. He has gone through a great deal without spoiling too much. We do see some growth in him. The growth we get from him, I would assume that some would say that there wasn't a lot of growth in the character. I would agree that there wasn't a great deal of growth, but I actually think that was... I liked it in the end. At first I found it frustrating, but I liked what we got out of his experience. Through the decisions he was making, it felt like something was... that felt appropriate to me. Rage of Dragons. Check it out. It is a great fantasy novel. Great story in general about a young man on a path of vengeance. And what to expect on that sort of path when you choose to be reckless, when you choose hate. Yeah, but I'm going to end my non-spoiler talk there. I'm going to be moving on to spoilers now, so if you haven't read it, spoilers up ahead. But yeah, let's get into it. Tau Tafari is a madman. I felt for him so much when his father was killed in front of him. That was nuts. I felt like he felt such guilt as well, and I think that drives a lot of his anger. I found it very interesting. There was a few moments where people that he faced, there was Kellan Okar in the trials. There was a teammate of theirs who ran as well during one of the trials, and then there was Dasso the Head Taker who ran, and Tau responded with such disgust towards them when they ran. He despises cowardice, and a part of me is curious if that comes from the fact that he almost chose cowardice before the events with his father. He was basically going to fake an injury so that he could live like a subpar life and be married to this woman he loved, Zuri. And it was... I think that there is a connection between his disgust towards cowardice and the fact that he was going down the path of cowardice before those events. The moment when Tau was about to have his rematch against Kellan Okar, I was so happy with Evan Winter's choice to change the perspective and give us Kellan Okar's perspective right before Tau destroyed him. Like, Tau obliterated him. You know, there's a lot of moments in this book where I really felt like, okay, this is going to happen, and even though I know it's about to happen, I'll be happy if it does. I thought that this was just going to be, because Kellan Okar whooped Tau the first time they fought, so I thought that this fight, it would be evenly matched at least. Like, he would actually give him a run for his money, and he would, like, run from that or something. But he dominated him. All of that training in Ishihogo, where he goes, really put him on a different level. It makes sense, like, training in a place that people call basically the underworld to become mentally and physically superior. Like, yeah, man, that's what you gotta do to beat these nobles, because it does seem like they have quite the upper hand on the lessers. So it's like, if you want that training that puts you beyond, that's where you gotta go. It's taking its toll on him. I'm curious if he's going to continue doing that. I'm curious about his progression in his training there, how that's gonna what's going to happen there. I'm sure more is going to progress with his will, you know, and whatever he did when he gathered as much sort of light as he could and he was able to injure the demons. I wonder if there's going to be some sort of development with that. I loved the ending of the epilogue, holy, with the queen giving him the blades with the hilt of the swords from his grandfather and his father. That was a really nice touch. And the last line of the epilogue is crazy. Okay. And like that, there was no going back. A dragon had been called, and someone would have to die. Damn. Hadith was a great character. I loved Tau's camaraderie with each member of the team. Uduak was my favorite. I think there was something special about how the two of them met. The fact that they sparred against one another, and that was their first way of meeting one another. Uduak watching Tau progress and seeing the subtlety of Uduak slowly treating Tau better. I cared a lot about that relationship, and it felt like it actually kind of drifted a bit around the last third of the story. I don't know if drifted is the right word, but I felt Uduak's reaction to Tau when he explained what he was that he wanted to kill, Odili, Daejen and Kellan. Yeah, if I feel like that was the moment when things slowly started to change with him and his team. But overall, I think that there have been a lot of great seeds dropped for the sequel. I'm excited to see Tao's progression. I'm curious if he will grow more from this. I'm curious if he will lean way more into his hate. I hope not, because I like the guy a lot, and oh man, Zuri's death was brutal. I thought she was, I thought that I had a feeling he was going to protect someone in the underworld so that, while their shroud was falling, he could still help someone else out. And I thought it was great that he was protecting Kellan, but really he was protecting Zuri, and to protect Zuri, he had to protect Kellan, which was very good writing. And yeah, I didn't expect her to survive and then die right after that. That was, and she was just eviscerated. She was gone like that. I liked their relationship. I don't care too much for romance in books, but this one I actually enjoyed. Another thing, I thought more would happen with Tao and Jabari. The moment when Tao saw Zuri in Kigambe, when she said that Jabari was also there, I thought that Jabari was having his own revenge story happening in the background, and I thought that Tao would have to come to a decision where Jabari would be standing in his way of getting his revenge, and Jabari wanted him dead too for the murder of his brother. And I thought that Tao would have to come to a decision about the type of man he wants to be in that moment. Does he want to be the type of man that gets his vengeance in the name of his father if it means killing his best friend? But I thought that would be very interesting. But I still loved what happened with Kellan Okar. He says something to Tao, and Tao's response is amazing. Hold on one second. Oh, here we go. Okay, I found it. So Tao is walking towards Kellan Okar, and they're about to have a one-on-one fight. And in the middle of their conversation, Kellan says, "Today, it's the two of us, and I've spent my life training to kill men like you." The world had gone silent, making it easy to hear the strange thing the Kamen said before he attacked. "You're wrong, Okar," he said. "There are no men like me." My man, Tao. See, these are the things that, when he says stuff like this, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. He's reckless. He's cool too. But yeah, that is, I think, everything I have to say about the book overall. I hope those of you who have read it enjoyed it the same way I did. I cannot wait for Fires of Vengeance. Hopefully that review will be up soon. But until then, I will see you in the next read-along or review. Catch you next time.